Hello everybody and welcome back to Echocraft. There's a few things showing up behind me, but we'll get to those later. Today I wanted to actually talk about some changes I'm going to be doing. So, as you can probably tell from the title of this video, this is going to be my last Echocraft video. My reasons for this are my own, really, to decide, but mostly it's about just how I felt this season has gone since the beginning. I mean, this isn't anything new for me. It's just been something I've been mulling over. But the direction that I've seen things going has not really been the direction I wanted to see my own stuff going, my channel. So, really, I decided months ago, and really it was towards the end of the year last year that I had decided that I wasn't going to stick around. Now, that being said, I have stuck around a little bit longer and even longer than I intended in the first place. And that's in part, I was trying to help Weasel get some of his projects done. And then I also was working on my own Guardian farm, and that was actually somewhat exciting for me. But there's still much to do over there, but I don't feel like I want to complete it because I'd really just be keeping myself here when this isn't where I really want to be. So, that being said, what I want to do today is kind of wrap things up in a way. So, one of the first things I want to talk about is the things that I was doing with Weasel. He was working on the Nether Hub and he needed help in order to get some of the things done. And one of the first things that he did outside of creating his other crazy farms that I'm sure you've probably seen, he created a wither skeleton farm. Now, this thing was a huge project in and of itself. He didn't just spawn proof things, placing buttons or pressure plates or anything along those lines. The crazy man dug the entire area out. He removed all the blocks in the area. He opened it all up, and honestly, I'm probably showing you right now as I've done a couple of replays or flashbacks on this, and finally got one edited. But he dug out the whole thing to the edges of where the spawning would have been troublesome for him, dug it all the way down, created the farm that gets actually really insane rates. And this thing isn't even at full capacity. He did not make all the modules in order to do this. And where I helped out is I would show up when I could and help dig for an hour or two some evenings. And then other times, or once he got it running, there was some trouble trying to get the sorting system to actually be able to just keep up with the number of drops that he had. So I ended up going in there and basically just brute forcing it. I put some hopper mine carts in there, and each one, two of those, and each one of those was sitting over top of 4 hoppers. So we were getting basically 4 times hopper speed going into each one was its own line, had its own sorter to just pull out the skulls, and we were just discarding everything else. So we were sorting out all of the skulls, discarding everything through 8 lines of hoppers, and that was finally able to keep up. So that was an exciting part of the project for me, was to be able to help with some of the technical aspects. And then on top of that, he also did a wither skeleton, or he did a wither farm in your normal place in the end, just under the portal returning back to the overworld. And that was that was fine. He had done it in such a way where he could spawn them fast enough, but this killing was slow because we couldn't spawn as many as we would like all at once. And so I tinkered around with an idea. He had shown me a video of somebody else who had done one that was like fully automated. I didn't quite go that far, but we did some pistons and whatnot, and those were able to allow us to, I think he got up to 17 spawned at a time before their explosions just prevented us from being able to spawn more. So really, we got so many of those, and he had to get like 7,000 stars for his Nether Hub project. Now, the Nether Hub project is amazing. He did a wonderful job with that, and it is very, very impressive to see. And so let's go ahead and just take a look at that. He's got so much going on there with he's got so much going on in there with all the beacons that he's got down for lights. He's glassed the entire floor. He's got all these blocks around the edges, shading and shaping, and it just, this thing looks incredible. And this is another space that he dug out completely. He spawn proofed it, and then he built on top of it, and did everything he could to keep the inside of the Nether Hub spawn proof, which he's done a fantastic job from what I've seen. And just really, it's a beautiful build, and I just really wanted to appreciate this. Because I think he did a great job and really deserves the recognition for his hard work. So the next part of what I wanted to do as I bid farewell to Echocraft was come back to my starter base. This is where everything began for me, as far as building and just kind of establishing myself. I early on had got myself good gear, and then spent time just making a very, I'd say, simple tent, a nice starter base for me. I mean, I guess it's not completely simple, but compared to some other starter bases on the server, this is pretty simple. And you know, I really enjoyed this being my starter base. So what I want to do is take it with me. So what I'm going to do is get in here and take it all. So yeah, let me get that going. We'll probably just do that in a time lapse to speed things up, and then I'll talk about where this is going. And just like that, it's gone. No more tent. Even the little basement area I was able to fill in. Unfortunately, I did not bring enough blocks to actually fill in the rest, but it's gone. That is no longer where I reside. So we're going to fly back to my guardian farm and show what I've been doing over there, as well as drop off some things, because once we're done with that, I think it's time for a journey. Yeah, we're going to take our tent and we're going to find a new home. And I already know where it is. But you'll have to stay tuned to see where it is I go. So, let me get back to the Guardian Farm and I'll show you around. Now, while I was actually planning on making a day before I showed any of this, I love the approach. We'll go into details on this, but yeah, this is currently what it looks like at night when I'm coming towards the front of the build, and I just had to show this. Alright, here we are back at the Guardian Farm. I had that nice little shot of the at night of the front. Here's what it looks like during the day. This here is my docking area. I wanted a spot where people could bring boats. I had visits from Simply Night once in a while. His base is just over that way. And he would ride in a boat to come over and visit, and I never had a spot for him. So this was one of the first things that I wanted to make sure that I had. It was just a nice little area where he could land and come visit. And I wanted color. So I've got lots of cyan in this build. Lots and lots of cyan in this build. So I added some deep slate for some dark tones, and then I mixed in some amethyst blocks just to really get some texture and some just splashes of color here and there. I also decorated the front, created some pillars for support as I created a wall, and this really cool entryway. At least I think it's cool. Nice little double arch here using the bookcases, and just in the railing here that goes along. This was inspired by False Symmetry and her build for her current season. And yeah, got some glass looking down into the passageway that comes from the nether portal, which is just over there under the water, which you probably could see at least some of the glow from the building here as I was approaching at night. And we'll take a closer look at that here in a moment. But really what I wanted to do was just make it so that this is actually walkable. So I've got staircases going up, and I've got those in various spots in a couple different styles. I've got railings so that you can peek down and around. I don't recommend falling, it's not terribly pleasant. Let's actually turn this off. I completed the pillars on each side, and in order to get to the redstone area, I didn't want people really going in here a whole lot, but in case I needed to get here, I created an entryway. It can be closed from below and opened again. And this is the item sorter so that our drops go where we want them to. And then our control lines to turn off the system, as well as on the other side to take our signal from down here all the way to the top, so that we can turn the system from material mode to XP mode, which still gives us the material but allows us to collect the experience as well. So that's pretty much in here. I'm not going to really dig into the redstone too much. And then we've got, as I said, staircases going up, and I designed up to basically this level as far as staircases, And then that's as far as I got before I started just really going, I'm just spending too much time doing this. But I did make farms on all four corners here. So this is potatoes. We've got wheat over there. This should be beetroot, and over there should be carrots. And then the stairs going up just kind of come up here and they end. So yeah, this whole level could have been something, or it could have been walkway, could have had some balconies sticking out over the side. I hadn't completely decided yet. I've got my two villagers still trapped in that glass box there. That's where they're going to live, unfortunately for them. And then no walkway up to the AFK spot. I know I wanted it all to be walkable, but that is not the section that I completed. As far as the downstairs area, we have one stairway that comes up here, and that is on the back side. So if we go down, we can see that I utilize the space where all the materials drop down through in that central pillar, and around it I made a sniffer farm. So these guys are living the life. I mean, they've got their own little spawn-proof ponds. They've got allays to pick up all their drops, and all the moss that they can snuffle around with that they would probably want. And then down below them is the storage area for all of the drops. We've got our prismarine crystals, prismarine shards. On the other side, we've got a section for the copious amounts of cod. And then here is where everything else is going to end up. So if you are manually taking out the guardians, they have a chance of dropping their heads. So we'll have heads, the other types of fish that drop. And then this is also where I have the allays dropping off all the pitcher pod seeds and the torch flower seeds. So all of that just kind of goes in here, and I'm not filtering that any more than that, simply because it's really unnecessary. We have the animals that I've rescued but never got put into a proper farm area. We did reduce some of the numbers so that I didn't have to transport all of them. The skeleton horses are here. We've decorated around this area with torch flowers and pitcher pods. So kind of a farm area for all of this. So if we wanted more, we would just harvest these and plant them. Got our camels right there. And then, yeah, just decorations, little points of interest. I removed all the torches, slipped in lights where I can. I've got end rods behind these walls here, so anywhere you see a wall, this probably has end rods behind it to provide illumination. And then just interest, trying to reduce the feeling of nothing but prismarine around here. Yeah, I would have needed more time in order to do that, but we're not going to do it. Here I had an interesting idea. So I've got some waterlogged stairs behind this section here so that I could put up the coral and it wouldn't die. So we've got some splashes of color in these locations. We created a lovely little pattern. We've got some raw gold blocks, some gold blocks, yellow glazed terracotta, some wool. Just, I thought it looked cool, kind of like a sunflower or just a sun. And then in order, this is my current storage system now, and in order to be able to figure out where things are, I put down coral again so that I can try to memorize it, but I'm not going to be able to finish memorizing it. In the various chests, we've got lots of stuff, and we've got lots of empty chests still on a couple walls, so plenty of room for storage, an area to smelt a whole bunch of materials quickly because I had to make lots of glass while I was here. And then we got a small section up here, some more coral, and in here this would have been either an enchanting room, a bedroom, possibly both. I hadn't finished planning it. I ran out of spruce to kind of fill this in, and I was kind of thinking I might do like mangrove for the roof here, and if there was a second level, I'd figure out what I did up there. But this is where it's going to be, and this is where my dog's going to live. And, you know, a bed. And then further up here, because I had moved all the animals and was starting to run out of food, I am still low on food as I have 2 golden carrots, but I can't be bothered to go after more. This is where I brought my cows, and also got some cold cows as well. And yeah, this will be where I would breed up and acquire beef. This is one of the designs I came up with for a lantern. This is actually twice the size of the original design. I like it. It provides light and interest, and yeah, more pillars, lights hidden in those as well. Just lots of light hidden in various spots. I really didn't want the torch spam anywhere in here when I finished. And since this is, as far as I'm going to be getting the build, this is finished. So we did some pathways where stuff would have been. I started thinking about, you know, how the walls would work, where they would go. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. We can walk out here comfortably enough, and occasionally we might see a drown. I don't know. That's where it is. Here's our main entrance area, what we see when we come from the nether. So we can see the sniffers. The animals, obviously, if I were here longer, would be moved to their own little spots, but no, this is how it is. We can see out through all the various windows. This area I would have decorated more, but this is our opening for our happy gas to fly through. So we can fly it down in here, drop stuff off, pick stuff up, get back out, or go into the nether, because we have that massive nether portal that I created with decoration now. And more lamps. These are the original ones that I designed. They needed more than just prismarine, and yeah, it's a similar color palette, but they look good. I would probably scatter these out into the water area as well to start illuminating it and reduce spawns, but we're not doing that. Couple of our water walls, just so that we can get in and out, and yeah, those are fun, to be honest. They're just really fun. Tried to include lots of glass, just lots of ways of looking out, and everything, all the ceilings here that are underwater are 2 blocks thick so that we don't have drips coming in. And yeah, nothing really fancy on the other side. You saw the nether hub. That's not too far from where this portal is, but I have not decorated the tunnel, so this is pretty much where it's going to get left off. So yeah, lots of potential, and this is another one of those builds that I think I'm going to attempt to do again in the future. So yeah, you might see this again, but somewhere else. And yeah, let's get back up to the surface, and I guess let's get ready to go on our journey, because we have somewhere to go. Oh, the other thing I was going to do. For my journey, I am not going to need all the extra stuff that I've got. So let's go ahead and transfer all my stuff into different storage, and then we'll get going. All right. I think we're ready for this journey. So, yeah, we've packed up the tent. We're ready to go and seek new lands to live in. So I'm going to take burnt marshmallow here, and we're going to go find our new home. And of course, it has to start raining right as we start going. I hope you all have enjoyed my time here on Echocraft, the videos I've made, and the adventures I've gone on, the couple of builds I've done. I really hope to do more in the future, and I hope you will stay with me and see what I get into next. So, yeah. Goodbye, everybody.